In part 8, Betta finally found Adekunle, the man written as her real father. Now in part 9, Chief Dogo fights back, but the truth is already too close.
Chief Dogo stood at the entrance of Adekunle's office like a man who had walked into a room he thought he still controlled. But this time, something was different. The people he had separated for years were no longer scattered. I was standing there with the birth document in front of me. Adekunle was standing there with the old photograph in his hand. Bintu was beside me, shaking but refusing to leave. And Mama B, for the first time since I had known her, looked like her anger was not strong enough to hide her fear. Adekunle repeated the question slowly. He asked Chief Dogo why he told him his child was dead. The room became so quiet that I could hear my own breathing. Chief Dogo looked at the document on the desk, then at me, then at Adekunle. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he laughed, but the laugh sounded forced. He said old stories should remain old stories. He said if Adekunle had truly wanted answers, he should have searched harder years ago. He said people disappear every day, children die every day, and life moves on. That answer made something in Adekunle change. His face darkened. He stepped closer and told Chief Dogo not to play games with him. He said for years he had carried the pain of believing the woman he loved had moved on and the child she carried had died. He said he had buried that pain because he thought there was nothing left to find. But now the child was standing in front of him alive, holding proof that everyone had lied. Chief Dogo's smile faded. Mama B quickly interrupted. She said this was not the place for drama. She said I was only trying to create confusion because I hated her. She said my mother was the real problem, not her. She said if my mother had not abandoned me in the first place, none of this would have happened. As she spoke, I watched her carefully. Her words were loud, but her eyes kept moving toward Chief Dogo. That was when I realized something. Mama B was not only afraid of us. She was afraid of him too. Adekunle turned to Mama B and asked her one question. He asked if she knew I was alive all these years. Mama B did not answer. She adjusted her wrapper, looked away, and muttered that she did what she had to do to protect her home. Those words entered me with a strange coldness. That was how she always defended herself. Every cruel thing became protection. Every lie became sacrifice. Every wound she gave someone became something she had to do. I had had enough of it. I told her that protecting a home does not mean destroying a child. For once, she did not shout back immediately. Chief Dogo stepped forward and told me to keep quiet. He said children should not speak when elders are talking. Maybe years ago, that kind of voice would have scared me. Maybe in the village, I would have lowered my head and swallowed my words. But not anymore. I looked at him and told him that I was not a child hiding in Mama B's corridor anymore. I was the person whose life they buried, and I had every right to speak. Bintu held my hand tighter. Chief Dogo's face hardened. He told Adekunle that the matter was becoming disrespectful. He said if Adekunle wanted to reopen the past, then he should also be ready for the shame that would come with it. He reminded Adekunle of the old business case, the accusations, the missing money, the years he spent fighting to clear his name. He said some doors should remain closed because opening them could destroy everyone involved. That was when Adekunle laughed, but it was not a happy laugh. He said his life had already been destroyed once by silence. He said if the past wanted to come out, he was ready to face it. Then he picked up his phone and called his lawyer. He told him to come immediately. Chief Dogo's face changed. That was the first time I saw panic clearly enter his eyes. Mama B pulled Chief Dogo aside and whispered something to him. I could not hear the words, but I saw the anger in his body. He looked at her like she had made a mistake by bringing him there. And maybe she had. Mama B had spent years using lies to control people in the village, but now she had carried those lies into a place where money, records, lawyers, and old documents could speak louder than her shouting. Adekunle asked me to sit down. My legs were weak, but I remained standing. I did not want anyone to think I was breaking. Inside, I was breaking in many places, but I had learned that sometimes strength is not the absence of pain. Sometimes strength is simply refusing to collapse in front of the people who caused it. A few minutes later, Adekunle's lawyer arrived. He was a calm man with a serious face. Adekunle explained everything quickly. The birth document. My mother's letters. Mama B's hidden box. Chief Dogo's old connection to the business scandal. The salon sale. The fake thumbprint. The women's contribution money. The unknown phone call threatening us. The lawyer listened carefully without interrupting. Then he asked if we had copies of the documents. Bintu opened the folder immediately. I looked at her and felt something warm in my chest. In the past, Bintu would have been hiding behind Mama B, waiting for someone else to fix everything. But now, she was standing beside me, carrying evidence, helping arrange truth. She was still scared, but she was present. And sometimes, being present is the first real proof of change. The lawyer went through the papers one by one. When he saw the fake thumbprint agreement, he frowned. When he saw the old receipts from my mother, he became even more serious. Then he looked at Chief Dogo and asked if he was involved in the sale of Mama B's salon. Chief Dogo said he only received what he was owed. The lawyer asked what debt Mama B owed him. Chief Dogo said it was personal business. The lawyer asked if there was an agreement. Chief Dogo did not answer immediately. That silence was loud. Adekunle folded his arms and looked at him. Mama B started sweating. She kept saying this matter was being exaggerated. She said she only borrowed money to keep the family alive. She said everyone benefited from that money. She said even I benefited because the salon trained me. That one made me look at her with disbelief. I told her the salon did not train me out of kindness. It consumed my childhood. It gave me skill, yes, but it took my school, my rest, my confidence, and many years of my life. I told her she could not use my suffering as evidence of her goodness. Bintu turned to her mother and said softly that it was over. She said Mama B should stop lying because every new lie was making things worse. Mama B looked at Bintu like she had been betrayed. She asked if Bintu had forgotten who carried her in the womb, who fed her, who sent her to school. Bintu started crying, but this time her crying did not make her weak. She told Mama B that love without truth becomes prison. She said she was grateful for what Mama B did right, but she would no longer defend what Mama B did wrong. That sentence hit Mama B hard. For years, Mama B had used motherhood like a shield. Nobody could question her because she was the mother. Nobody could challenge her because she had suffered. Nobody could correct her because she had provided. But that day, Bintu separated love from obedience, and Mama B did not know what to do with it. Chief Dogo suddenly stood up and said he was leaving. He said if Adekunle wanted legal war, he would get it. He warned him not to forget that some wounds can reopen. Then he looked at me and said I should be careful chasing a father who did not look for me for over 20 years. His words hurt because part of me had already been thinking the same thing. But I refused to let him see it. Adekunle stepped between us and told Chief Dogo never to threaten his daughter again. My heart stopped for a second. His daughter. He said it like it was natural, like the word had been waiting in his mouth for years. I did not know how to feel. Part of me wanted to cry. Part of me wanted to reject it. Part of me wanted to ask where that father had been when I slept outside in the corridor, when I watched Bintu go to school, when Mama B called me free labor. But another part of me understood that he had also been lied to. The truth had arrived too late for all of us. Chief Dogo and Mama B left the office angrily. But before leaving, Mama B looked at me with tears in her eyes. Not soft tears. Angry tears. She said I had taken everything from her. Her daughter. Her home. Her respect. Her peace. I looked at her and said I did not take anything. I only survived what she did. She did not answer. After they left, the office felt heavy. Adekunle sat down slowly and covered his face. He looked like a man who had just recovered a child and lost 20 years in the same moment. I stood near the window, staring outside at the cars and workers moving around like life had not just changed inside that room. After some time, Adekunle asked if he could speak to me alone. I looked at Bintu. She nodded and said she would wait outside. But before she left, she squeezed my hand. That small gesture gave me courage. When the room became quiet, Adekunle started talking. He did not try to claim instant fatherhood. He did not ask me to call him Papa. He did not pretend that tears could repair everything. He said he knew he had no right to demand anything from me. He said even if he had been lied to, the truth remained that I grew up without him. He said he could not return my childhood, my school years, or the nights I cried alone. But he wanted to know me if I would allow it. I listened quietly. Then I asked him the question that had been burning inside me. I asked why he did not search harder. He closed his eyes. When he opened them, they were wet. He said shame can make a man weak in a different way. After the business scandal, he lost everything. Friends turned away. Family doubted him. People who once praised him started calling him a thief. When he came back and heard that my mother had moved on and that the baby had died, he believed it because he already felt he deserved loss. He said he should have questioned it. He should have searched. He should have followed every rumor until he found the truth. But he was tired, broken, and ashamed. I did not comfort him. I had spent too much of my life comforting adults whose weakness became my pain. But I also did not hate him immediately. That surprised me. Maybe because his voice carried regret without excuse. Maybe because he admitted his failure without trying to make it beautiful. Or maybe because by then, I was too tired to carry fresh hatred. I told him I needed time. He nodded and said he would wait. Then he opened a drawer and brought out an old file. He said after the business scandal cleared, he started gathering information about what Chief Dogo had done. He had names, bank records, old statements, and some evidence that Chief Dogo had framed him years ago. But he never pursued it fully because he thought reopening everything would only bring more disgrace. Now, after learning that Chief Dogo's lies had also stolen his child from him, he was ready to continue. He gave me a copy of one page. On it was Chief Dogo's name, Mama B's name, and a record of money transfer from years ago. My hands became cold. Adekunle explained that Mama B received money from Chief Dogo around the same period my mother came back to the village. He did not know why then, but now he suspected the payment was connected to keeping my mother away, hiding the letters, and confirming the lie that I was dead. I could barely breathe. Mama B had not only hidden letters out of bitterness. She might have taken money to bury the truth. When Bintu returned and saw my face, she knew something worse had happened. I showed her the paper. She read it once, then again. Her face broke slowly. She whispered that Mama B sold everyone. She sold my childhood. She sold Papa B's trust. She sold the salon. She sold even Bintu's understanding of what family meant. Adekunle's lawyer advised us to take everything to the police before Chief Dogo had time to hide more evidence. He also said we needed to protect Papa B because if Chief Dogo felt cornered, he might try to pressure the weakest person first. That warning scared me more than I wanted to admit. Papa B was still in the village, weak and surrounded by people who could be influenced. We left Adekunle's office quickly and called Papa B. He answered after many rings, and his voice sounded frightened. He said some men had come to the compound asking questions. They did not enter, but they stood outside for a while before leaving. My heart started pounding. Adekunle immediately arranged a car to take us back to the village, but before we left, he said he was coming too. I looked at him. He said he had already missed too many years. He would not hide again. The journey back to the village felt longer than before. Bintu sat beside me. Adekunle sat in front with the driver, quiet and tense. Nobody spoke much. The road seemed darker, even though it was still evening. My mind kept moving between the past and the present. My mother. The letters. The stolen money. The birth document. Mama B's fear. Chief Dogo's threats. Adekunle calling me his daughter. Papa B alone in the village. By the time we reached the compound, people had gathered outside. My stomach dropped. I jumped out of the car before it fully stopped. Bintu followed me. Papa B was sitting outside, shaking but alive. The village elders were there too. One woman from the contribution group was crying angrily. She said her son had seen some men near the old salon shop trying to remove things inside. When villagers approached them, they ran away. The elders suspected Chief Dogo was trying to destroy or move evidence connected to the sale. Adekunle introduced himself calmly, but the moment some older villagers heard his name, whispers started immediately. Adekunle Baligan was not forgotten. His story had lived in rumors for years. Some people looked shocked. Some looked suspicious. Some looked afraid. That was when I understood how powerful old names can be in small places. Papa B saw Adekunle and became emotional. He tried to stand, but his body was weak. Adekunle moved closer and greeted him respectfully. For a moment, the two men stared at each other, carrying years of mistakes between them. Papa B apologized. Adekunle did not answer immediately. Then he said the apology would come later. First, we had to stop Chief Dogo. That night, the elders decided that nobody should go near the salon until morning. 2 young men were asked to watch the area. Adekunle's lawyer contacted the police in the nearest town. Madame Vero also called me and said she was coming the next day with someone who understood property documents. I felt overwhelmed, but for the first time, I was not alone inside the fight. Still, something was missing. My mother. Every new truth brought me closer to her and farther from peace. We now knew she had tried. We knew she had left letters. We knew she had gone looking for Adekunle. But we still did not know where she was. That unknown part sat inside me like a stone. The next morning, before the police arrived, Mama B returned again. This time, she came alone. She looked different. Her wrapper was not properly tied. Her face was tired. Her eyes were swollen like she had not slept. For once, she did not come shouting. She stood at the edge of the compound and looked at all of us. Bintu moved toward her, but stopped halfway. Mama B looked at Adekunle, then at me. She said Chief Dogo had gone too far. She said he was never supposed to threaten anyone. She said everything had become bigger than she expected. Her voice was shaking, but I did not trust it. Mama B had cried before. She had shouted before. She had begged before. Every emotion she showed always had a purpose. Adekunle asked her if she took money from Chief Dogo to hide the truth about me. Mama B looked down. That was answer enough. Bintu made a sound like something had broken in her throat. Mama B quickly said she did not know how serious it would become. She said Chief Dogo told her Adekunle was dangerous, that my mother would take me away, that the family would collapse, that Papa B would be abandoned. She said she was angry and afraid. She said she had already invested too much in the household to watch an outsider come and take me away after I became useful in the salon. There it was again. Useful. That word followed me everywhere. I asked her if she ever saw me as a child. She opened her mouth, then closed it. I asked again, softer this time. Did you ever look at me and see a child? Mama B's eyes filled with tears, but she could not answer. That silence told me everything. Maybe she fed me. Maybe she trained me. Maybe she allowed me to remain in the house. But somewhere in her heart, I had never been a child who needed love. I had been a problem that learned to work. Bintu started crying openly. She asked Mama B if her own comfort was worth all that pain. She asked if her school, clothes, phone, and soft life were paid for with Better's stolen years. Mama B shouted that she did everything for Bintu. Bintu replied that she never asked her to destroy someone else to raise her. That sentence made the whole compound silent. Before Mama B could respond, a motorbike entered the compound with a young man carrying a message from the police station. He said Chief Dogo had filed a complaint first. He accused Adekunle of harassment, accused Papa B of trying to cancel a legal sale, and accused me of trying to extort money by claiming false paternity. I almost laughed from shock. Chief Dogo had moved fast. Adekunle's lawyer, who had just arrived, read the message and said this was a common tactic. If a guilty person reports fast, he tries to control the story. He told us we needed to go to the station immediately with all documents and witnesses. Mama B suddenly became nervous again. She said she would not go. The elders told her she had no choice. That day, we all went to the station. Me, Bintu, Papa B, Adekunle, Mama B, the elders, the salon buyer, and 2 women from the contribution group. The place was crowded, hot, and stressful. But for once, the truth was not trapped inside a family compound. It was entering a place where statements would be written. Chief Dogo was already there, sitting confidently with 2 men beside him. When he saw Mama B with us, his face changed slightly. He expected her to remain on his side. But Mama B looked tired and afraid. She did not sit near him. The officer asked everyone to explain. Chief Dogo spoke first. He said he legally bought the salon as settlement for money Mama B owed him. He said Papa B was aware. He said Adekunle was only trying to use an emotional family story to attack him because of an old business rivalry. He said I was being manipulated because I wanted a rich father. His words were smooth. Too smooth. He knew how to make lies sound organized. Then our side started. Papa B gave his statement. His voice was weak but clear. He said he never approved the salon sale. He said the thumbprint was not his. He showed his injured right thumb. The officer took note. The women's group showed their records. They explained how Mama B collected money using my name and the salon expansion story. The officer took note. Adekunle's lawyer presented the birth document, the old letters, the receipts, the transfer record connecting Mama B and Chief Dogo, and the old business file from Adekunle's case. The officer's face became more serious. Then Mama B was asked to speak. For a long moment, she said nothing. Chief Dogo stared at her with warning in his eyes. Bintu whispered, "Mama, tell the truth." Mama B looked at her daughter. Something passed between them. Maybe love. Maybe regret. Maybe the fear of losing the only person who had once worshipped her completely. Then Mama B began to confess. Not everything at once. Not beautifully. Not cleanly. But enough. She admitted that she hid my mother's letters. She admitted that money came for me and was used for the household and salon. She admitted that Chief Dogo gave her money years ago after telling her that Adekunle must never know I was alive. She admitted that she lied to my mother by saying I hated her. She admitted that she allowed Adekunle to believe the child was dead because Chief Dogo said it was better for everyone. The room became still. Chief Dogo shouted that she was lying. But Mama B continued. She said the salon debt became bigger because she kept borrowing from Chief Dogo over the years. At first, small amounts. Then larger ones. When she could not pay, he told her to sign over the salon. She said she used Papa B's thumbprint without his knowledge because she was desperate and afraid of Chief Dogo. She said she never planned for everything to collapse this way. I listened without emotion. Maybe I had cried too much already. Maybe the truth was now too big for tears. The officer ordered Chief Dogo to remain seated when he tried to stand. Adekunle looked like he was holding himself back from shouting. Papa B lowered his head. Bintu cried silently beside me. Then the officer asked the question I had been waiting for. He asked Mama B where my mother was. Mama B looked confused at first. She said she did not know. She said after my mother came to the village and left, she had nothing more. But Chief Dogo's face changed. I saw it. Adekunle saw it too. The officer noticed. He turned to Chief Dogo and asked what he knew. Chief Dogo said nothing. The officer asked again. This time, Chief Dogo leaned back and said that if my mother disappeared, it had nothing to do with him. He said she was a grown woman and grown women make choices. But his voice had lost its smoothness. Adekunle suddenly stood and said Chief Dogo was lying. He said my mother went looking for him years ago, and Chief Dogo was the last person connected to the old lie. He demanded to know what happened to her. The station became tense. The officer separated everyone before the matter turned physical. Chief Dogo was asked to provide records of his movements and contacts from that period, but because the matter was old, everyone knew it would not be simple. Then something unexpected happened. One of Chief Dogo's men, who had been standing quietly behind him, stepped forward. He looked nervous. He said he did not want trouble, but there was an old woman in a village near the river who might know something. Chief Dogo turned to him with a look that could burn skin. The man stepped back, but he had already spoken. The officer asked what he meant. The man said years ago, a sick woman was brought to that river village by someone connected to Chief Dogo. She stayed there for some time, using another name. He did not know if she was the same person, but he remembered hearing that she was always asking for a man named Adekunle and a daughter she had lost. My body went numb. Adekunle whispered my mother's name. The man nodded slowly and said he thought that was the name. For the first time, the possibility entered the room. My mother might still be alive. Not confirmed. Not certain. Not safe. But possible. Everything after that felt like a blur. The officer said we could not rush blindly at night. The river village was far and the road was bad. We would go the next morning with proper people. Chief Dogo was warned not to leave town. Mama B was told she would also have to remain available for investigation. The salon sale was frozen until the matter was reviewed. When we returned to Papa B's compound that evening, nobody spoke for a long time. The whole family had been cracked open. Mama B sat alone near the corner, no longer looking powerful. Bintu stayed far from her, torn between love and pain. Papa B looked older than ever. Adekunle stood outside, staring into the distance, probably thinking about the woman he had lost twice. And me, I sat with my mother's necklace in my hand, afraid to hope. Hope can be dangerous when life has disappointed you too many times. But that night, I still hoped. I imagined my mother somewhere near the river, older, sick, maybe waiting, maybe forgetting, maybe still carrying my name in her heart. I did not know if I was ready to forgive her. I did not know if she would even recognize me. I did not know if finding her would heal me or break me again. But I knew one thing. I had to go. Early the next morning, before sunrise, we prepared for the journey to the river village. Adekunle came with his lawyer. Bintu insisted on coming. Papa B wanted to come too, but his body could not handle the road, so he stayed behind with one elder. Mama B stood near the doorway watching us. For once, she did not shout. She only looked at me and said my mother might not be the person I remembered. I looked at her and said I did not remember my mother. That was the point. As we entered the vehicle, Bintu held my hand. The road ahead was long, rough, and uncertain. But somewhere at the end of it, there was a woman who might have carried the last missing piece of my life. And if she was truly alive, then the final truth was waiting for me in the river village.
And that was part 9, but in the final part, Beta may finally find her mother.